Hear this now. Wednesday is not an ordinary day on your calendar. It carries a finality that has been authored long before you rose to notice. God's voice moves through seasons and people, and on this Wednesday a seam in your life will split open. Someone will be removed, not necessarily with drama, sometimes with a quiet, divine nudge, and you must listen. This is not punishment, it is pruning. If something stirs inside you as you read this, a chill, a tug, a sudden memory, treat it as a compass. Your spirit has been whispering for weeks, maybe months. Make space, hold steady, don't explain. Those whispers prepared you for this Wednesday. The removal will not always arrive like a slam. Often it shows as a soft unthreading. Calls stop, invitations fade, attention drifts, but the effect is the same. The place they occupied in your inner world will empty. Intentionally, divinely, finally, God never removes without reason. The act of removal is sculptural. It reveals your shape by taking away what masks it. Remember, revelation serves your destiny. So, when someone is taken out of your orbit, whether by distance, choice, or circumstance, understand that the universe is making room. The most painful losses are frequently the most provident removals. For many, this will be the person you least expect. It might be the one who offered comfort, the one who kept routine, the one whose shadow you learned to read. Familiarity breeds blindness. Wednesday acts as a mirror. In that reflection, you will finally recognize that closeness does not always mean alignment. Your job is not to debate God's pruning. Your job is to receive clarity with courage. The weeks leading into this day probably left breadcrumbs, a repetitive slight, an energy that felt heavy, a kindness that demanded something in return. You might have excused it. Love does that. But Wednesday strips excuse away. When the person's presence begins too thin, do not rush to explain or to salvage what the universe is cutting. Silence will be your stewardship. Now, practical, sacred instructions. Do these 6 preparations between now and Wednesday. 1. Journal 3 patterns you no longer wish to repeat. 2. Choose 3 boundaries you will not negotiate this week. 3. Designate 1 physical space in your home as untouchable for checking messages. 4. Sleep 30 minutes earlier each night until Wednesday. 5. Fast from gossip and justification. 6. Speak the phrase each morning, I will receive what frees me. These are not rituals of superstition, they are containers for clarity. On Wednesday morning, begin with a 7-minute centering practice. Sit comfortably, breathe deep for 5 counts. Place your hand over your heart, whisper, clarity, come. Imagine a thin, clear thread connecting your heart to a white light above. This practice calibrates your nervous system so revelation does not feel like catastrophe. Expect a moment, sometimes subtle, sometimes sharp, when you recognize absence. It might be silence on the phone, a canceled plan, or a comment that lands with unfamiliar hardness. Do not panic, observe. Your primary task is to witness, not to litigate. Let God's timing do the cutting. Your silence will do the healing. Remember, removal can look like release. When the person who once occupied your edges steps away, you will feel space you can't name at first. That blankness can be frightening. That is why many rush to refill it with noise, with someone else, with justification. Do not allow the void to breathe. New light needs emptiness to enter. There will be tests of compassion on Wednesday. You will be tempted to rush back into relationship repair, texts, explanations, bargaining. These are temptation scripts that seek to re-anchor you in the old pattern. Resist. If God is removing, bargaining may re-glue the mask for a season. Choose discernment over haste. A short set of markers to help you recognize the removal is purposeful, not random. The pattern repeats despite apologies. Be your peace declines after interactions. See their presence requires you to diminish. If 2 or more of these signs appear, trust that the universe is deciding for you. On Wednesday, prioritize solitude in 3 ways. Physically, Take one long walk alone. Mentally, avoid deep debates or heavy explanations. Spiritually, spend 15 minutes in silent listening. This solitude is not loneliness, it's a sacred appointment with truth. Some of you will notice others trying to fill the gap for you. Well-meaning friends, nosy relatives, or opportunistic figures. Be cautious. Not every hand that reaches into your open space is aligned with what God is preparing. Invite help selectively. Test offerings with stillness. Is this in rhythm with my return to wholeness? If no, decline. You may ask, what if the person being removed is a family member I cannot fully step away from? Then practice internal boundaries. Create mental distance even while you maintain necessary connection. Use phrases like, I hear you, I'll think about it, and then close the conversation. This protects your spirit without creating unnecessary rupture. For those in partnerships, listen carefully to this guidance. Tuning into removal is not an excuse for haste. Do not weaponize the Wednesday event to justify abandonment. Rather, observe. If your partner's energy consistently undermines your well-being and Wednesday reveals this, use the days following to chart a path with clarity, not panic. Evidence, not emotion, should inform decisions. There will be dreams before and after Wednesday that are more vivid than usual. Record them. They are spiritual footnotes explaining what your waking eyes may miss. Even a single symbol, a locked door, a falling leaf, can hold instruction. Treat dreams as gentle confirmations, not as the sole argument for action. The removal will bring a cascade of emotions: shock, relief, sorrow, sometimes unexpected relief. Allow them to arrive without editing. Emotions are the language of the soul explaining what the mind has only begun to see. Write them down. Don't sanitize the pain. Naming is moving. Practical step. Compile a simple clarity log for the week. No interactions that leave you lighter versus heavier. Record the exact words they used when you felt undone. Keep only facts, times, dates, statements. This log will be invaluable if you later need to make decisions or remember how the pattern truly looked. A caution: do not go public with the removal as a spectacle. God's discernment is quiet. Public exposures create noise that can complicate healing. Share with a trusted confidant who holds wisdom and discretion. Not everyone needs to be in the audience for your pruning. There are those who will misunderstand your withdrawal on Wednesday as rejection. Let them. You will know the labor of explaining the universe's work on your behalf. If needed, say simply, I need space to process. Repeat it once, then guard your silence. For spiritual reinforcement, choose a single word to carry through the week. Anchor, clear, free. Repeat it when tempted to explain. Use it as a hinge that snaps shut around reactions that want to spill. Naming gives power to stillness. Expect some pushback. People whose presence is being pruned may attempt to provoke, manipulate, or shame you into staying. They might claim love as leverage. This is why your prior preparations, journaled boundaries, ritual, and solitary practices are critical. Stand by them. Love without alignment is a perilous compromise. Wednesday's removal is also a purification. Consider it a river cleaning the banks of your life. What washes away is what would have rotted the soil for new growth. When you see loss, imagine the clearer ground underneath. This metaphoric vision helps the heart move from grief to gratitude. Some of you will receive surprising confirmations after the removal, a truth revealed in a text, a hidden pattern shown by another's behavior, or a sudden silence that speaks volumes. Keep your heart steady. Do not use confirmations as ammunition for revenge. Use them as evidence for the new architecture of your life. A brief grounding ritual for midday on Wednesday. Place both hands at your solar plexus. Inhale for 5 counts. Exhale for 5. Visualize roots growing from your feet into calm earth. This practice will realign your nervous system when shock attempts to hijack your peace. There is mercy in removal, even when you cannot see it. Mercy has moved before you. God orchestrates these detachments to prevent greater heartbreak later. Trust that distance today can become a bridge to freedom tomorrow. If you are tempted to seek immediate reconciliation on Wednesday, ask yourself 3 questions first. Is this reconciliation grounded in genuine accountability? Does it require ongoing structural change? Am I being asked to return to the same pattern? If yes to the last, pause. The cost of premature reconciliation can be your future peace. You may feel pressure to tell everyone what happened. Resist. The less commentary you create, the clearer the removal's purpose remains. The universe prefers quiet pruning. Loud narratives complicate divine timings. For those who are spiritual leaders or caretakers, remember, your role is to model discernment, not to perform it for others. Hold space for those grieving, but avoid rescuing them from the work of reflection. People removed often need solitude to parse lessons, offer presence, not solutions. Anticipate a small window of consolation, a message, a call, or an unexpected visitor that softens the sharp edges of removal. Gratitude these moments, they are the universe's gentle wink, reassurance that absence does not mean abandonment. Keep tending to your body. Food, rest, water. These basics will stabilize you when emotions surge. Do not underestimate the way physical care amplifies spiritual resilience. When your body is provisioned, your soul can process without catastrophic drama. As the day advances, you may notice that certain relationships, once heavy, begin to feel lighter simply because you are lighter. That doesn't mean the people changed. It means your proximity and tolerance changed. That is sovereignty. If you must speak with the person being removed, prepare a short script that preserves truth without inflaming. I have noticed patterns that do not align with where I am going. I need space to protect the direction I'm moving toward. I won't debate this now. I will communicate when I am clear. Say it once. Walk away. Your tone matters more than your length. Beware of spiritual bypassing, using prayer or positivity to avoid real boundary work. Prayers that do not produce protective action can become avoidance. Combine faith with wise choices. Faith opens the door. Boundaries decide who enters. After Wednesday, allow time for the aftershocks. There will be shifts, some subtle, some wide. Do not be rushed to perform productivity or sudden joy. Grieve and gather. This is a season of resorting. Let each day be a small, steady repair. Invite beauty back into your space intentionally. A simple thing, a plant, a clean window, a new candle, can signal to your soul that removal was not erasure, but an invitation. Beauty draws in new frequency. Make room for it. A helpful practice for the week following. Each evening write down one thing the removal made possible. It might be a feeling more peace, a space an empty chair, or a thought a new idea. This practice reorients your mind from lack to possibility. If you are tempted to relitigate the past with the person removed, instead write them a letter you do not send. Pour out the full story, the hurt, the gratitude, the lessons. Then burn, or delete, or tuck it away. This ceremonial release is powerful. It honors truth without creating spectacle. Some of you will discover that the one removed is not gone forever, but will return in a new capacity. Maybe different, maybe distant, maybe wiser. That possibility exists, but it must be earned through changed structures. Do not accept reunion without evidence of sustained change. There will be rare cases where the removal is abrupt, a sudden departure that appears to come without explanation. In those moments, anchor to these facts. You are not the cause of divine timing, you are its beneficiary. Let grief be raw, then let resolve build like a quiet fortress. A short prayer you can say at dusk. God, I receive the removal that brings me nearer to you. Shape my heart to hold only what builds. Guard my peace. Repeat it slowly. Let the rhythm settle the day into a holy hush. Look for small confirmations in the days ahead. Doors opening, a new energy in your work, a friend who shows up with quiet steadiness. These are not consolation prizes, they are signposts. They indicate that space created by removal was necessary and sacred. Do not be surprised if compassion for the person removed grows over time. Insight often follows distance. You may come to understand their limitations without condoning them. Forgiveness can bloom, but only when it no longer requires you to lower your guard. That is the healthiest mercy. Finally, and most tenderly, remember this: being chosen by God for pruning is an honor, even when it hurts. Pruning means you are expected to bear fruit. Removal is not the end of relationship. It is the soil change that makes deeper fruit possible. Stand in that dignity. Receive the lesson. Walk forward lighter. If this message resonated, mark it in your heart with a quiet act. Write the number 111 in your journal, and beneath it, write 3 things you will protect from now on: your time, your peace, your joy. Keep this note visible. Let it be a covenant with yourself, to receive removal as mercy, to protect your space as sacred, and to step into what is being prepared for you with steady faith. Go into Wednesday listening. God speaks in the spaces left behind.